The dog Canis familiarize or Canis lupus familiarize is a domesticated descendant of the wolf. Also called the domestic dog, it was selectively bred from an extinct population of wolves during the late Pleistocene by hunter-gatherers. The dog was the first species to be domesticated by humans over 14,000 years ago and before the development of agriculture. Experts estimate that due to their long association with humans, dogs have gained the ability to thrive on a starch-rich diet that would be inadequate for other canids. Dogs have been bred for desired behaviors, sensory capabilities, and physical attributes. Dog breeds vary widely in shape, size, and color. They have the same number of bones with the exception of the tail, powerful jaws that house around 40 teeth, and well-developed senses of smell, hearing, and sight. Compared to humans, dogs have an inferior visual acuity, a superior sense of smell, and a relatively large olfactory cortex. They perform many roles for humans, such as hunting, herding, pulling loads, protection, companionship, therapy, aiding disabled people, and assisting police and the military. Communication in dogs includes eye gaze, facial expression, vocalization, body posture including movements of bodies and limbs, and gustatory communication sense, pheromones, and taste. They mark their territories by urinating on them, which is more likely when entering a new environment. Over the millennia, dogs became uniquely adapted to human behavior. This adaptation includes being able to understand and communicate with humans. As such, the human-canine bond has been a topic of frequent study, and dogs' influence on human society has given them the sobriquet of man's best friend. The global dog population is estimated at 700 million to 1 billion, distributed around the world. The dog is the most popular pet in the United States, present in 34 to 40% of households. Developed countries make up approximately 20% of the global dog population, while around 75% of dogs are estimated to be from developing countries, mainly in the form of feral and community dogs. Size and skeleton, a lateral view of a dog's skeleton. Dogs are extremely variable in size, ranging from one of the largest breeds, the Great Dane, at 50 to 79 kilograms, 110 to 174 pounds, and 71 to 81 centimeters, 28 to 32 in, to one of the smallest, the Chihuahua, at 0.5 to 3 kilograms, 1.1 to 6.6 pounds, and 13 to 20 centimeters, 5.1 to 7.9 in, 30-31. All healthy dogs, regardless of their size and type, have the same amount of bones with the exception of the tail. Although there is significant skeletal variation between dogs of different types, the dog's skeleton is well adapted for running. The vertebrae on the neck and back have extensions for back muscles, consisting of apaxial muscles and hypaxial muscles to connect to. The long ribs provide room for the heart and lungs, and the shoulders are unattached to the skeleton, allowing for flexibility. 30 to 33-34. Compared to the dog's wolf-like ancestors, selective breeding since domestication has seen the dog's skeleton increase in size for larger types such as mastiffs and miniaturized for smaller types such as terriers. Dwarfism has been selectively bred for some types where short legs are preferred, such as dachshunds and corgis. 33. Most dogs naturally have 26 vertebrae in their tails, but some with naturally short tails have as few as 32. Skulls of different breeds, from left to right: Pug, Boxer, Rottweiler, Wolf, Collie, Standard Poodle. The dog's skull has identical components regardless of breed type, but there is significant divergence in terms of skull shape between types. 33-35. The three basic skull shapes are the elongated dolichocephalic type as seen in sighthounds, the intermediate mesocephalic or mesocephalic type, and the very short and broad brachycephalic type exemplified by mastiff-type skulls. 33-35. The jaw contains around 40 teeth, and it has evolved for the consumption of flesh. Dogs use their carnassial teeth to cut food into bite-sized chunks, more especially meat. 36. Senses. Further information. Dog anatomy section. Senses. The left half of the image shows the estimated difference in a dog's vision. Dog senses include vision. Coat. Main article, dog coat. The coats of domestic dogs are of two varieties, double being common in dogs as well as wolves originating from colder climates, made up of a coarse guard hair and a soft down hair, or single, with the top coat only. Breeds may have an occasional blaze, stripe, or star of white fur on their chest or underside. 49 premature graying can occur in dogs as early as 1 year of age. This is associated with impulsive behaviors, anxiety behaviors, and fear of unfamiliar noise, people or animals. 50. Some dog breeds are hairless, while others have a very thick corded coat. The coats of certain breeds are often groomed to a characteristic style. For example, the Yorkshire Terrier's show cut. Dewclaw. A dog's dewclaw is the 5th digit in its forelimb and hind legs. Dewclaws on the forelimbs are attached by bone and ligament, while the dewclaws on the hind legs are attached only by skin. Most dogs aren't born with dewclaws in their hind legs, and some are without them in their forelimbs. Dogs' dewclaws consist of the proximal phalanges and distal phalanges. Some publications theorize that dewclaws in wolves, who usually do not have dewclaws, were a sign of hybridization with dogs. Tail. A dog's tail is the terminal appendage of the vertebral column, which is made up of a string of 5 to 23 vertebrae enclosed in muscles and skin that support the dog's back extensor muscles. One of the primary functions of a dog's tail is to communicate their gland or supracaudal gland, characterized by sebaceous glands on the dorsal surface of their tails. In some breeds, it may be vestigial or absent. The enlargement of the violet gland in the tail, which can create a bald spot from hair loss, can be caused by Cushing's disease or an excess of sebum from androgens in the sebaceous glands. A black standard Schnauzer with a dog tail. A study suggests that dogs show asymmetric tail wagging responses to different emotive stimuli. Stimuli that could be expected to elicit approach tendencies seem to be associated with a higher amplitude of tail wagging movements to the right side. Dogs can injure themselves by wagging their tails forcefully. This condition is called kennel tail, happy tail, bleeding tail, or splitting tail. 58. In some hunting dogs, the tail is traditionally docked to avoid injuries. Some dogs can be born without tails because of a DNA variant in the T gene, which can also result in a congenitally short bobtail tail. 59. Tail docking is opposed by many veterinary and animal welfare organizations, such as the American Veterinary Medical Association 60 and the British Veterinary Association 61. Evidence from veterinary practices and questionnaires showed that around 500 dogs would need to have their tail docked to prevent one injury. Lifespan, further information, aging in dogs. The typical lifespan of dogs varies widely among breeds, but the median longevity, the age at which half the dogs in a population have died and half are still alive, is approximately 12.7 years. Obesity correlates negatively with longevity, with one study finding obese dogs to have a life expectancy approximately a year and a half less than dogs with a healthy weight. In a 2020 UK study analyzing 580 for 1,730 for dogs, it was concluded that purebred dogs lived longer than crossbred dogs, challenging the previous notion of the latter having the higher life expectancies. The authors noted that their study included designer dogs as crossbred and that purebred dogs were typically given better care than their crossbred counterparts, which likely influenced the outcome of the study. 75 other studies also show that fully mongrel dogs live about a year longer on average than dogs with pedigrees. 76. Furthermore, small dogs with longer muzzles have been shown to have higher lifespans than larger medium-sized dogs with much more depressed muzzles. For free-ranging dogs, less than 1 in 5 reach sexual maturity, and the median life expectancy for feral dogs is less than half of dogs living with humans. Reproduction. Main article, Canine reproduction. 2 dogs tied after mating. In domestic dogs, sexual maturity happens around 6 months to 1 year for both males and females, although this can be delayed until up to 2 years of age for some large breeds. This is the time at which female dogs will have their first estrus cycle, characterized by their vulvas swelling and producing discharges, usually lasting between 4 and 20 days, 80-81. They will experience subsequent estrus cycles semi-annually, during which the body prepares for pregnancy. At the peak of the cycle, females will become estrus, mentally and physically receptive to copulation. Because the ova survive and can be fertilized for a week after ovulation, more than one male can sire the same litter. 80 to fertilization typically occurs 2 to 5 days after ovulation. After ejaculation, the dogs are coitally tied litters roughly 58 to 68 days after fertilization, with an average of 63 days, although the length of gestation can vary. An average litter consists of about 6 puppies. Behavior, main article, dog behavior. See also, dog behavior section behavior compared with other canids. Dog behavior has been shaped by millennia of contact with humans. They have acquired the ability to understand and communicate with humans and are uniquely attuned to human behaviors. 100 to behavioral scientists suggest that a set of social cognitive abilities in domestic dogs that are not possessed by the dog's canine relatives or other highly intelligent mammals, such as gray apes, are parallel to children's social cognitive skills. Most domestic animals were initially bred for the production of goods. Dogs, on the other hand, were selectively bred for desirable behavioral traits. In 2016, a study found that only 11 fixed genes showed variation between wolves and dogs. These gene variations indicate the occurrence of artificial selection and the subsequent divergence of behavior and anatomical features. These genes have been shown to affect the catecholamine synthesis pathway, with the majority of the genes affecting the fight-or-flight response, i.e., selection for tameness and emotional processing. Compared to their evolved counterparts, dogs tend to be less timid and less aggressive, though some of these genes have been associated with aggression in certain dog breeds. Traits of high sociability and lack of fear in dogs may include genetic modifications related to Williams-Burton syndrome in humans, which cause hypersociability at the expense of problem-solving ability. In a 2023 study of 58 dogs, some dogs classified as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder-like showed lower serotonin and dopamine concentrations. A similar study claims that hyperactivity is more common in male and young dogs. A dog can become aggressive because of trauma or abuse, fear or anxiety, territorial protection, or protecting an item considers valuable. Acute stress reactions from post-traumatic stress disorder (PTSD) seen in dogs can evolve into chronic stress. Police dogs with PTSD can often refuse to work. Duration: 30 seconds. 0:30. Dog swimming over to catch a ball. Dogs have a natural instinct called prey drive. The term is chiefly used to describe training dogs' habits, which can be influenced by breeding. These instincts can drive dogs to consider objects or other animals to be prey or drive possessive behavior. These traits have been enhanced in some breeds so that they may be used to hunt and kill vermin or other pests. Puppies or dogs sometimes bury food underground. One study found that wolves outperformed dogs in finding food caches, likely due to a difference in motivation between wolves and dogs. Some puppies and dogs engage in coprophagy out of habit, stress, for attention, or boredom. Most of them will not do it later in life. A study hypothesizes that the behavior was inherited from wolves, a behavior likely evolved to lessen the presence of intestinal parasites and dents. Most dogs can swim. In a study of 412 dogs, around 36.5% of the dogs could not swim. The other 63.5% were able to swim without a trainer in a swimming pool. A study of 55 dogs found a correlation between swimming and improvement of the hip osteoarthritis joint.